slogans, so they're widespread, so there's pressure on government, so there is change. As long as we prove that one of the links in between is false, their whole case falls, and we see that our first to third speaker has already done this. So two major clashes for the House today, and today we'll prove to you why we both win both of these clashes. Firstly, on the idea of numbers, they accused us of having a case shift when we say that we'll now have rallies and stuff like that. But we see that this is actually not the case because they've said that we have no alternatives. But we say that right from first speaker all the way down to third, we have showed you how our side is encouraging concrete change through campaigns, through rallies and so forth. And we tell you that these are far more effective because what happens is that these works directly with the government instead of going through the medium like the internet, which is basically, so we see that their side has told us about how traditional NGOs ride on the waves of activism. We see that no, it's actually the opposite. It's hashtag activism that rides on the wave of traditional NGOs, and this is what our third speaker has tried to brought to you, that we see that this is extremely harmful. So what have we said? We told you that this is what happens is that you need the foundations of the he for she campaigns, you need the foundations of a lot of Black Lives Matters in order for the hashtag activism to have the huge impact that it can possibly have. And we tell you that this impact is extremely harmful because what happens is that this is unsustained change. This is not meaningful activism, which their side has not dealt with. So their side has told us about how now more people will step up and do such things. But our side have already told you that just because there is numbers, which is the very best case scenario, as I've already told you that people will now be desensitized and therefore their numbers doesn't work. But even in the best case scenario, whereby more and more people will step up and therefore pressure the government, we see that essentially this is not true because what happens is that the people feel that there is this notion of false accomplishment, there is this notion of complacency that, oh, I've already done something and therefore this should be enough. And therefore we see that on their side, that change is extremely short-term if there is change at all. So we see that this short-term change, when we weigh it out against the long-term harm of delegitimizing established campaigns which are actually doing something to help, and compare it with things such as the political activism of youth that is now they're no longer actively doing something because they no longer have any incentive to find out more about the backgrounds of such movements. We see that in our case, we win both the clashes of numbers and change because as we've already told you, we see that it's far more effective when one person they step up and we do such things in real life whereby the people go directly to council meetings, go directly to rallies and hear and speak with people in real life as opposed to just depending purely on slogans which might not be widespread enough and which therefore we show you that on that side the link between pressure government and change falls, and with such the whole case falls, and please go with side opposition who truly cares about meaningful activism.
Thank you very much to the speaker for that fine speech, and I now invite our last reply speaker from Proposition K.
Two reasons why proposition took today's debate. One, proposition stuck closer to the true spirit of the motion. Recognize that opposition was debating on the wrong motion. They kept asserting long-term, long-term. We didn't even hear what specific change they were seeking in the long term. Social change? Political change? We don't know. Proposition consistently proved down the line how hashtag activism benefited people. We brought to you the example of Chicago Federal Court mandating Ford Motors employ observers to prevent sexual harassment. We brought to you the example of the Saudi Arabian government allowing women to drive to attend soccer matches. But here is where we analyze the first clash in today's debate, the first deadlock on long-term change. Here is where proposition edged ahead significantly. What did we hear from proposition? One, the supposed short-term change that opposition imposed on us is the long-term change. Notice how third speaker sneakily focused on the $22 million lawsuit settled by Ford, because they realized that the observers stopping sexual harassment was there and solved sexual harassment forever. the lifting of the driving ban in Saudi Arabia allows women to drive forever. This is as long-term as you can get. I don't know how much more long-term they want other than forever. But second, opposition never gets to the long term because they never dealt with the characterization provided outside. My first speaker down the line gave you structural reasons as to why status quo opposition's policy failed. One, confined within geographical boundaries. People do not get the critical mass aside to solve a humanities problem, not a geographical problem. Two, these institutions are infiltrated and controlled by the very oppressors and perpetrators of social injustice. Three, the younger generation, the people in general, distrust a system that has never worked for them before. Here's where opposition conceded, because they claim that the hashtag movement only achieves short-term momentary change, and once the movement disappears, change will not occur. It means that they concede in the absence of hashtag feminism, change doesn't occur. Their very own substantive is a clear concession. At best, we solve the problem forever. At worst, we solve the current generation's problem. Opposition, no solution, because they're sticking with status quo, which we've already proven has failed. We win on this yardstick of protecting people. Second reason why we won, because we were more willing to engage on the realistic conception of hashtag feminism. What did we hear coming out from opposition? That the hashtag movement will resurface only every few decades. That the hashtag feminism, activism will be reduced to a mere catchphrase or a few simple words. What did we tell you down the line? First, on the critical mass being a mass on our side. Regardless of whether these people attach long-winded explanations or opinions to the hashtag, the fact that they retweet the hashtag means that one, they are now cognizant of the fact that such a movement works, and second, that they find it valuable and therefore are partaking in this movement at all. Second, we told you how on our side, we utilize the rhetoric and the emotional appeal of the victims' testimonies and their plights to force politicians to change. Here's where opposition refused to tackle with this line down the bench, because they knew that the victims were the ones who were the most equipped to tackle this social change. Because on our side, one step towards hashtag activism is one giant leap to social change forever for all. I'm so proud to propose.